Sorry about that, guys. I just accidentally pressed a button on my phone. Yeah, just going live now. If you'd like to join into the conversation, this is obviously in response to today's events in Parliament. As many of you know, John Bercow, which is the Speaker of the House of Commons, has decided he's going to quit. And I don't think they're going to call an election today. He said if they did call an election today, he would quit. So I'm just about to see if it is. I'm just about to get an update from the old politics, see what we're doing today. But I don't think, I don't think they're going to allow the vote to go through. So taking out. Okay, so right. So there is a bit of breaking news. The vote to force ministers to publish correspondence over suspending Parliament and no-deal Brexit planning. So obviously they want to know what's been said, how they prorogued Parliament, as in from tomorrow, because they're still going on about, they want to know if it's all underhanded, and the no-deal Brexit planning papers. So they want to see that there's actually something being done. So that's just going news now. I don't think they're going to go for a general election. Nobody of them apparently wants to go for a general election. Just a quick few thank yous. Please share this video. I want to talk about racism and Bercow obviously leading. Now, I'm just a normal guy, father of 4, family man. I'm not racist at all. I have no prejudice whatsoever. If you all knew what I did in my private life, which we'll keep away from here, you would understand I don't worry about sexuality, gender, and all sorts of stuff like that. And I really take offence to when someone calls me a racist. I am not a racist, nor will I ever be a racist. And the fact that I call a group Put Britain First doesn't mean that I'm racist. I'm patriotic, and I believe that we should be putting the rights of our own people first and then help the rest of the world with what we have left, of course. And of course I understand that we have to help the world in helping them become better, and I think you have to, and through education you make people better, okay? So I think education is a right I think everyone should have for free as long as they can afford it, essentially. I know it's got a weird sort of thing to say, but I think education is the key to improving the world. So when some idiot then goes up and calls me a racist, I find that deeply, deeply offensive. And I'm quite happy to name John Keegan's, because no, I'm not a racist. And if you've got any proof, anything whatsoever, I'd invite you to ask. Being proud of your country, believing in your country, and standing up for your country doesn't make you a racist. If someone's got any proof, I'd be glad to sit there and discuss it. Any one of the 10 people who've on the poll, which you've seen that I've run on the Facebook group, whether you think it's democracy or racism, I did use the wrong word, should have been patriotism. I do thank everybody for their votes. There's been over 1,000 now. Only 10 people of the 1,000 have said that it's possibly racist. I mean, I'm all up for people if they would kindly tell me what they think is racist about it. Anybody got an opinion? I mean, I don't think for standing up for your country is racism. I think patriotism is what it is. Like I said, I have no qualms with anybody who lives here. Absolutely no qualms from anybody who doesn't. All I say is I want to take the immigration, sort of free immigrational movement off the table and have controlled immigration, because I think you have to look after your own country first. That's the point. And then you help others. Of course, when you've got migrants that are being under oppression and everything, nobody minds helping. Nobody's got a problem with helping out. But what we do have is a problem with flooding in for absolutely nothing. And when it affects the detriment of people within, doesn't matter what colour you are, where you originated from, where your family's from, when you affect the people that actually live here, it's then a problem. So, racist, cobblers. Anyway, right, so on to the John Bercow thing. What do we all think? Good? Bad? I mean, I think there's good and bad in everybody, okay? I'll get that out there right from the start. John Bercow, up until recently, had never... this had never been sort of a problem. But this Brexit situation is doing two things. And I urge everybody out there, listen, it was a democratic vote. We voted to leave. I get that. Not all of John Bercow is bad. Not all of Jeremy Corbyn is bad. He just got lots of bad ideas. In my opinion, he hasn't been unbiased in certain issues, and he has placed a lot of his own personal issues in, which has allowed things to actually go on in the House. But there you go. I guess that's part of life, right? And you just have to deal with it as best as you can. The fact that he's stepping down, I think, is probably more of the fact he's stepping before he's pushed. That I completely agree with. What do we think out there, people? Do you think he was pushed? Do you think he was going? I mean, he paid a very, fitting tribute to members of Parliament. He also paid sort of a tribute to his family, and you have to understand. I mean, these people in Parliament do get a lot of stick, right? You go, well, they get paid a lot, but they don't get paid as much as you think. They get paid a fair amount more than you and me, but it's not like they're sort of on celebrity money where you hear, someone like Beckham or some of these footballers that are on 300,000 a week. I mean, these guys, I think a basic MP's wage is about 70 grand a year. I could be wrong, but and they get more for this and more for that. I'm not quite 1,000,000% sure, but they're certainly not on millions, right? I think they retire with a few million quid in the bank at least, or sort of hefty pensions. Margaret Patterson, yeah, I agree. He was so full of himself, and recently that's come to light. Recently he's been more so, and he's been more self-opinionated when you should be completely unbiased, right? And he does make the backbenchers listen. I mean, do I think it's time for him to go? Absolutely. You can't get involved in it. I mean, one of the biggest things, obviously, as you know today, you've probably heard that the Queen's given royal assent. I don't hate on the Queen for giving royal assent. She had absolutely no choice. I don't think there's been a law that's been blocked by the monarchs in it for about 400 years. It's not done. She doesn't really rule the country. She asks the country to form a government, or she asks, in this particular case, Boris Johnson to form a government. What I have the problem with is you ask someone to form a government for you, and then the Houses of Commons can take away the government's ability to govern. That's what essentially has happened. I mean, they've managed to take away Boris Johnson's ability to govern. So what effectively they've done, they've tied his hands up, pushed him over, and every time and every day and every read you make, you're reading from someone who's a Remainer and all the other sort of people that don't really want to come out of Europe and are disguising it. Do you know what I mean? As we want a good deal, but really we don't. They're just kicking him, absolutely kicking him. So what can you do? What can you do if you're Boris Johnson? What can you do? You can't leave the European Union, whether you got a deal or no deal. Remember, if he gets a deal, he's got to go and put it back in front of the Houses of Parliament, right? Who believes that the Houses of Parliament are even going to accept it? Because if they accept it, then they start the process of coming out. So why would they accept it? Why would anybody accept a deal? So the SNP are never going to accept a deal. It doesn't matter if it came back and it said we give Scotland 400 billion. They would never accept the deal because it's not in their interest to accept the deal because they don't want to come out of Europe. As for the Liberal Democrats, exactly the same thing. This is one thing I will say about the Liberals and the SNP. They know what they want. Okay, they're the party of Remain, or parties of Remain. I'm sorry, I'm only going to go to sort of the top four here. Okay, so they're the parties of Remain. You've got the Brexiteers, the Brexit group, the UKIP, and Conservatives, which are Leave. Okay? And you've got Labour. They haven't got a clue, because yesterday they were Remain, tomorrow they'll be Brexit if that gets us the most votes. They just chop and change their mind with everything. And it just doesn't make sense. Pick a side and stick with it. The problem is there was about 5 million Labour voters who voted to leave. Can Labour afford to lose 5 million voters? Now, bear that in mind when you know that the Brexit Party, or UKIP, well, Brexit Party weren't in existence, but UKIP, in the 2017 election also got 5 million votes. And if the UKIP and Brexit Party don't oppose the Conservatives, there could be a huge problem for Labour. Is that the real reason why they won't go to the general election? I mean, like me and you probably, I'm absolutely fed up with going to the booth. I really am, and putting my X in a box. Especially now, when I can't trust whatever I say is actually going to be done. These politicians, all they're doing is destroying the credibility of the British government. They're destroying the credibility of the democracy process. The very process they start bleating on about around the rest of the world that says, oh, England is a fantastic... Oh, sorry, I do apologise. Great Britain is the big, democracy. We stand by our people. We listen to our people. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't listen. Because if you'd listened, we would be out. But anyway, so, I mean, I'm not... And I will never say to people, I want you to go blockade the streets. I want you to sit there and, storm the Houses of Parliament. want you to kick up a violent fuss. I would never say that, because violence never assumes anything. What I would say to people, if you don't agree with what you're going through, right, you get to vote at the ballot box, but that doesn't seem to work. But you have every right as an individual and a taxpayer of this country to voice your opinion to your MP. Go to gov.uk, find out who your MP is if you don't know, and a quick email to them. You can email, you don't even have to write anything, you don't have to send it in a stamp, don't have to send it recorded, and they do have a duty to get back to you. Might not be today, might not be tomorrow, but tell them how you feel. Tell them how let down you feel about the whole process. Even better, find out if your MP actually voted the way of your constituency. So 428 constituencies voted to leave. And you can't get that in Parliament. So something's gone wrong somewhere. If you don't know where to start, send me a message through the Put Britain First webpage, and I will gladly try and do some of the work for you and find out either A, who your MP is. I'll get you their email address so you can email them. Obviously, you can get Boris Johnson's email address to email him some support. I mean, even if you don't like the guy or you don't agree with his principles, everybody's free to have an opinion. So, I mean, this is going to be quite a short one today, because you guys are probably sick of my own voice, and I'm probably driving everyone mad. But if you do have any questions and you'd like me to help, I'll be glad to help. Okay, I mean, mine's only an opinion of what I would consider an average family man. I might not have the same opinions of everyone else, and that's what makes it great as being a democracy. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, how wrong or right they are. That's for the person who's sort of interpreting what I'm saying. As I say, if you do need help, you've only got to give me a shout. I'm more than happy to help anybody. If you don't agree with my opinion, I'm happy for you to discuss it with me. That's certainly not a problem. I've already put some challenges out there to the MPs. I've sent Martin Vickers a request to have a conference call with me that we can do live in the studio, or we can do live here, and I'll have a Skype conversation and I'll publish it on Facebook. He's my local MP for Cleethorpes, so I'm based up here in Lincolnshire. I come from Essex, so I've moved away. But go and challenge your local MP. Challenge them. Give them the question. One thing I will say, in quickly closing out, if anybody wants to call me a racist, then at least have some proof to do it. I am not in any way racist. I am very patriotic, but I'm not a racist. Another thing, if you do have an opinion and you are a Remainer, don't keep posting nonsense all over the group, okay? I don't go and do it to yours. Please don't go and do it to mine. And the third thing is, I will not accept bullying and harassment and abuse on this page, okay? I just won't do it. There's lots of memes that get posted up, yes, about people like Hexhead, Crosshead, and Flathead and whatever. That gets posted up. It's not created by us. It's created by someone else, and they are opinions. We're not ever going to accept abuse or anything along those nature, because it's just not on. If you want healthy discussion, this is the place for it. Anyway, guys, there's links and bits and pieces for a no EU badge. If you want that, I think it's £2.26. It's not me that's selling it. It's through Amazon. I've got one. So if you want that, there's going to be a link posted in this call. There'll probably links all over. Just click the link and it takes you there. It's straight to Amazon, so there's no if, whats, buts or maybes. If anyone wants to get in touch with me, I'm more than happy to answer questions. You can certainly do that. Just post to the group or just message me, and I'll be more than happy to answer. Thanks very much, guys. Enjoy your Monday. Sorry it's the beginning of the week, but I thought I'd better address the post about racism very, very quickly, as these things do get out of hand. I want to thank the over 1,000 people now who have voted, and thank you very, very much for your support. And if I can do anything, just ask. Thanks very much. Speak to you all soon.